Hello everyone, my name is Ariel and I'm doing this video as a reflective piece for my research program that I did last summer, 2020. So for my research program, I was honored to be a part of the Center for Religion in the City research program, which focused on documenting organizations and how they are handling the COVID-19 pandemic. I was a part of the oral history team, which primarily focused on collecting the oral histories from organizations that received grants from the Center for Religion in the Cities. I had the pleasure of being able to interview multiple different organizations that discussed a variety of things. However, for this specific video, I'm going to be discussing two organizations that I had the pleasure of interviewing. Those two organizations are going to be the Black Church Food Security Network and Saguarte Land Trust. These two organizations are two different ones, yet they share many similarities. So first things first, I'm going to briefly discuss the Black Church Food Security Network and what they do, and kind of a brief overview on what was discussed during the interview. So for the specific interview, I had the pleasure of interviewing Siobhan, who primarily discussed many things such as race, history, food insecurity, and much more. However, I want to briefly give an overview on what the organization is doing. So, as stated previously, we briefly discussed during the interview about food insecurity. Food insecurity is a big thing that has caused many problems in society today, and it primarily affects many individuals of color. And so for this specific interview, the Black Church Food Security Network was able to highlight many things that brought up a lot of the things that are causing food insecurity in America, such as food apartheid. Food apartheid is a big thing that is happening in America currently. Food apartheid is primarily when there are barely any grocery stores available in a neighborhood within a mile radius, and it pretty much is just the lack of fresh produce. There are many communities that are living in a food apartheid, and they were able to discuss in this interview about food apartheid and just how it's been really affecting many African Americans in the world. We also highlighted many things such as what their organization is doing, which is they are providing fresh produce for individuals. They are also making it so many Black farmers are able to produce and sell their own food and products. So yeah, they're doing a really good thing. This organization was founded in 2015, and they specialize in recruiting, organizing, and mobilizing African-American congregations around food system initiatives, environmental conservation, and agricultural products. So another big thing that came up was getting back to their roots and, finding these, remedies that, their ancestors used back in the days, especially since COVID-19 is a big thing. So I thought that was important to highlight. So the next organization I had the pleasure of interviewing was the Saguarte Land Trust. So they are an urban indigenous women-led land trust based in San Francisco Bay Area. That primarily returns indigenous land to indigenous people. It was founded in 2012 with the goals of returning traditionally indigenous lands in the San Francisco Bay Area to indigenous people. So this organization is very, very interesting, and it was amazing to hear about the things they are doing right now during the pandemic and what they were doing before. So primarily what they are focused on primarily right now is these food drives and giving back free food to the communities and those who are in need of it. Because like I said, many people are affected due to COVID-19 and the pandemic. So many people don't have that access or aren't able to afford certain produce anymore. So this organization is able to give out free food to those in the community who are in need, who need it, and pretty much look out for each other, which I think is so amazing. Also, what was discussed in this interview was key terms such as rematriation, revitalizing culture, and much more. I think the term rematriation was a big thing that was brought up because the term is coined from repatriation, yet it is a feminine version of repatriation, since repatriation is more of a masculine term. So I'm going to briefly discuss what rematriation means. And this is exactly from Najoni, who was interviewed for this specific project. Najoni was able to provide a brief definition of what rematriation is. So Najoni stated, so I don't know if there's an exact definition or one person that coined it, but it's just a word that has been going around the community, the intertribal community here in the Bay Area for a couple of years. So pretty much it's implanting and learning about these certain crops or certain medicines. So we have the word repatriation, which is telling you you're bringing back something to its traditional homeland, and that's masculine. But we move towards matriation, being an organization and also recognizing that a lot of tribes and a lot of indigenous people around the world are matriarchal societies. So that's why we use rematriation instead of repatriation. So I think that was important to highlight because, as stated before, this is a woman-led organization. So to coin the term rematriation instead of repatriation, I think is big because, you know, it's getting away from that masculinity. And also shining light on that they are pretty much bringing back something to its traditional homeland, which is primarily what the organization is doing. So all in all, those are just a few of the organizations I interviewed. That was a brief overview about them. And, you know, everyone can learn much more about this organization if they visit their websites and look them up, because there's so much more that was not covered in this video. And I hope this, you know, made anybody who's watching more interested in learning about these organizations and even getting involved and helping these orgs and, you know, stuff like that. So yeah, thank you for watching. Yeah, this was my brief reflection piece on my journey being a research fellow during a 2020 pandemic. So yeah, thank you.